Hello, everyone. This is the Dread Pirate once again, and you may have noticed I've been a little busy lately. I've got like a ton of videos I just shot out, and basically that's a bunch of stuff I've been sitting on for a couple weeks now. Seeing as how I've been a little too busy to upload what with school and all, and I got a big assignment I got to work on tomorrow too. So before I'm done for the night and possibly gone from the internet again for another couple weeks. I wanted to get a couple things done and taken care of, and mostly this is a special video for a fan. This is for MinecraftDinoKaiju MDK. Thanks for watching, dude, and I haven't forgotten about you, and here we are. Today we're going to talk about the upcoming Godzilla King of the Monsters. Minecraft wanted me to comment on it. So I did see the trailer. I saw the trailer in something I saw in the theater. Yeah, Deadpool 2, actually. That's what it was. Yeah, I believe I saw the trailer in Deadpool 2. So I'd been thinking about it, and I did actually have some thoughts on this. So a little bit of backstory in terms of this cinematic universe. I like Godzilla well enough. I'm not the biggest Godzilla fan. I'm not the biggest Godzilla aficionado, but I watched a couple of the movies back when I was a kid when they would come on, and I enjoyed them, and my dad would make fun of them, and it was just like, that's obviously fake, and it's like, yeah, but that's why I like it. It's a big rubber dinosaur that breathes fire. It's cool. It's fun. It's like professional wrestling, but with monsters. It's great. But I mean, I always liked the movies well enough, and especially they were kind of corny. I mean, again, anybody that loves like low budget films like I do, you owe it to yourself to go check out Godzilla. And it's not even really, I don't think it's even really fair to call Godzilla low budget. I mean, they're again, for their time, they've always been kind of silly and corny, but for what they are your classic, awesome kaiju monster movies, and they're definitely worth checking out. Most of my information on Godzilla comes from actually, of all people, James Rolfe. One of James Rolfe's, I think, better series of videos is anytime he's not angry reviewing something and he's just like talking about something he likes. I think James Rolfe is excellent, and his Cinemassacre, Monster Madness stuff, I think, is particularly good as a horror fan, and he's a big Godzilla fan, so he did a whole thing of pretty much every Godzilla movie, many years back, and I think his Monster Madness Godzilla-thon is excellent and worth checking out. And so that was a really good Godzilla school for me. I kind of got the whole story and what goes on in the Godzilla series. At some point in time, I think we might do a podcast on this with Malmoto. Malmoto is actually a much better Godzilla scholar than I am. But yeah, my history of Godzilla is, most of the stuff I know about Godzilla comes from that. When it did come out in the theaters way back in the 90s, I did see the American Godzilla. Thought it was okay. I don't hate Roland Emmerich, and again, I'm not a Godzilla scholar, so it's like, it's a rip-off of Jurassic Park with a big iguana monster. Its babies are like raptors. It's like, all right, cool. And years later, it's like, yeah, I can totally get why, if you're a hardcore Godzilla person, that movie irks you. It's interesting enough that it is considered part of the canon of Godzilla. It's like they just renamed it and called him Zilla. It's like, oh, the Americans thought that was Godzilla because we're dumb. And it's like, and Godzilla even destroyed Zilla in I believe it's Godzilla Destroy All Monsters All Out Attack or something like that. One of the latter ones before we had this recent American Godzilla come out. He like blasted him to the Sydney Opera House. It was pretty awesome. So anyway. Again, I'm not the biggest Godzilla scholar, but from what I've seen of the classic Godzilla movies, they're really good. They're really good, and they're kind of in my wheelhouse to go back and watch all the ones that I haven't seen. So I'm in the process of slowly collecting them. I haven't got too many so far. I've got one on DVD is Godzilla vs. Biollante, which I really like, and I've got the original Godzilla and a couple of different versions. I got the one with Perry Mason in it, Raymond Burr. So anyway, I'm in the process of kind of getting caught up on these things. Anyway, on top of that, it should be known that, as a rule, I hate remakes. I don't like them. I personally feel that it's like, especially if your series is good and you got a bunch of movies that people like. I think people prefer sequential storytelling. I don't want a reinterpretation. I want you to take your reinterpretation, shove it up your fucking ass. I want a continuation of the character that I know and love. I only want you to do a remake unless there's absolutely no possible fucking way to tell this story without doing it. And certain things, like, I don't have a problem with, like plays. It's like there's been literally like thousands of versions of Romeo and Juliet and pretty much anything that Shakespeare's ever done. Why? Because we didn't have television back in those days. We didn't have movies. The only way you could keep telling a story was just to retell it over and over again. So, I mean, there are exceptions, definitely. And I will accept a sequel, I will accept a remake, if it brings something new to the table that is enjoyable, that I like. And, you know, and what this is kind of hard to define with me. And I also, if it's something has already been remade multiple times, I'm less opposed to doing a remake. Unless it's one of those scenarios where it's like, for fuck's sake, we just remade this like a year ago, why are we doing this again? Or, unless you need it, like, DCEU or Star Wars. I feel like, you know, in the case of Star Wars, remake Episode 8. Remake Episode 8, pretend Solo didn't happen. You know, I don't know. Send Ryan Johnson to a gulag somewhere. I don't know, just thinking out loud. But yeah, so when they announced the new American Godzilla, I was like, no, this is a bad idea. I don't want this. Because we already tried this. We already said, hey, we're America. We can do a better job than the Japanese can do. Like, you know, just like we did back in the 90s with Roland Emmerich, that movie that nobody likes. We're just going to do it again, right? Because we haven't learned anything. Yeah, we're America. We're better than Japan. Yeah, okay. Again, I think the Japanese films are excellent. I think they're really good. Why are we... Stop. What? Well, because we're America and we got, like, Hollywood? That don't mean shit. Especially the way our films have been going lately in the past couple years. It's like, not that they're all bad, but yeah, you got so much shit nowadays. A stamp of Hollywood doesn't mean anything, as far as I'm concerned. So I didn't want to watch it. I had other friends who were really, friends and guys I worked with who were really excited about it. And I was like, all right, I'm not really interested. And then then it came out, and Red Letter Media reviewed it. And the Red Letter Media guys were their review was kind of eh. It was like, they were kind of like, the thing that they kind of imparted to me was, like, when the monsters are doing stuff, it's really cool. There's way too many humans in this movie. There's way too many humans, and that takes away from the Godzilla aspect of it. I remember having an argument with a friend many, many years ago about, I think, about Transformers 2 Revenge of the Fallen, where one of the things I hated about that movie, and I think a lot of people would agree with, is that the human characters are insufferable and miserable, and I'm there from Optimus Prime. I'm there for the Transformers. I don't need human characters. And his argument, well, if you don't have human characters, then nobody's going to relate to it. Nobody's going to connect to it, which I think is a really stupid argument. Humans, the audiences are perfectly intelligent and capable of sympathizing with things that are not like us. In fact, I would argue we're better at that. You know, I mean, as a pet owner, as someone who loves my animals, you know, it's it's so, to me, I think a lot of people out there who have pets too could relate. You know, isn't it so much easier to feel compassion for your cats or your dogs than it is for humans, those smelly, annoying humans that are just make life miserable? At the end of the day, we sympathize with animals more than anything else because they're not our own species. They don't make us miserable. They're cute. It's like, come on. You know, that's a thing. So, I mean, and on top of that, I mean, if you're into speculative fiction, if you're into science fiction, why can't you sympathize with Godzilla? He's basically the hero of this franchise anyway. If we can sympathize with villains, if, like, the Friday the 13th movies and Nightmare on Elm Street movies become more about Freddy and Jason than they become about the humans that they swat aside, if there are things that, if we can sympathize with villains or gravitate to villain characters, then why not non-humans? I mean, the whole point of, like, getting into Transformers is the Transformers. You're there for Optimus Prime. So why do I need Shia LaBeouf or Marky Mark running around? I don't. So, once again, I don't need humans in a Godzilla movie. Not really. I need a couple, maybe. Like, one or two Japanese scientists trying to stop Godzilla. That's it. After that, I just want the big guy himself. I want the big, badass dinosaur destroying things, kicking ass, and fighting everybody. And actually saving the day from monsters bigger and badder than him. That's all I need. So it feels like there's way too much of a focus on human characters. I think one of the big things about the big sells of the movie was Bryan Cranston was in it, and Bryan Cranston's, like, in it for 5 seconds, makes a couple, Walter White statements, and then dies, and done, and then we're like, there's nothing really left to watch. So it's like, as a rule, I was like, all right, this doesn't appeal to me. I'm not interested. I don't want to watch this. Then I saw Kong Skull Island, and I fucking loved Kong Skull Island. Now, backing up a bit, let's talk about King Kong for a second. I love King Kong. King Kong is the original King Kong is one of my favorite movies of all time. It's a classic, beautiful, early science fiction movie. Once again, another hero of mine, James Rolfe. James Rolfe has gone on at length about how awesome King Kong is, and I thoroughly agree. I watched it all the time when I was a kid. That movie is still just a great, awesome science fiction movie. That, especially for the time it was made in, like, the special effects were incredibly groundbreaking for the time. I think they still hold up today. I love King Kong, but I also do love King Kong as a franchise. And interesting enough, King Kong does have several sequels. I haven't seen all of them, but I've seen King Kong 2, or like Son of Kong. I've seen Son of Kong. It does have sequels, and that movie, King Kong, has been remade multiple times already. You've got the original sequels to the original movie. You have the Japanese Toei movies where he does fight Godzilla, and it's supposed to be the original King Kong. And on top of that, he goes off and fights like a King Kong robot and other craziness. And he has electrical powers, which is like, okay, sure he does. You've got the 80s King Kong movie starring Jeff Bridges, which is actually really good. And you've got the Peter Jackson remake, which is the longest movie on the face of the earth. But I still love that movie. Especially, I love Peter Jackson's passion for that movie. I love all the stuff. I love the dinosaurs. I love all the coolness there. This falls under the category of, well, it's already been remade already. It's already been made multiple times. And those remakes, I think, all bring something good to the table. So, a King Kong movie getting remade, I don't mind so much. It's another King Kong movie, and I really liked Kong Skull Island. I loved the style of Kong Skull Island. I loved the different take on it. I loved the fact that it was like a post-Vietnam movie. It was like these are literally soldiers just coming home from Vietnam that have one more crazy mission they got to go on. I love the interesting dynamic that was thrown in there. That they're instead of like going to the island, every movie before, it's like they're I think, except for like the 80s one. I want to say the 80s one was the premise was we're looking for oil, but the other ones it was like the original and the remake was like, it's set in the 30s, we're going to shoot a picture. It was like, no, there's this like story they're telling where we're going looking for like different energy sources and things like that. This is an undiscovered island. We want to examine it, and of course John Goodman's character has ulterior motives. He's like, no, they're doing research on these giant monsters, these titans and kaiju creatures, and he sent them here to test his theory and kind of investigate the place. It's interesting how King Kong becomes a bad guy. He winds up attacking. I loved everything about it. I love the fact that King Kong is played as a hero, and the worst thing he does kill the soldiers. But the thing is, he's defending his home, and he's defending the creatures and the people there. I love the fact that I loved Sam Jackson as a quasi villain who was completely sympathetic. It's like he knows like he shouldn't be hunting this thing down. It doesn't matter. It killed his men. He knows there was a misunderstanding. It doesn't matter. It killed his boys, and he's going to kill this gorilla. It's like I totally got where he was coming from. I was down with that. I like the other monsters in the movie. I like the big spider critters, and there's like a big like caribou thing, and our bad guys, the skull crawlers. I liked the Skull Island natives, who have been completely changed from their original incarnation as hostile natives, especially in the Peter Jackson one, where they're like freaking like psycho zombie cannibals or something like that. They're like freaky as hell, to completely peaceful natives who don't revere King Kong out of fear. They revere him as a protector. And I think the best thing about the movie, honestly, is Patsy Riley, who is just great in the movie, and is just an awesome character. This soldier that's been marooned there since World War II, and he's he was funny and great and an interesting three-dimensional character. I've heard a lot of comments and criticisms of the other characters in the movie. I actually really like Tom Hiddleston in the movie, and Brie Larson. who like I think are I think a lot of the comments out there, they're just kind of generic, but it's like they were a little, you know, two-dimensional, but they served the movie just fine for what they were. They were good, like, everyman adventurers who are stuck in the situation and are kind of cool and competent in the action monster killing sort of sense, and they're good for that, and that's really kind of all we need. And I thought they were just fine. My only real criticism of Kong Skull Island was no dinosaurs. And I'm sorry, no, you need dinosaurs in a King Kong movie. You need a lot of dinosaurs. You need, or not just dinosaurs, you need other monsters, and a lot of other monsters to show that there are a bunch of things on this island. Because it's one of the cool things about King Kong is it's not just King Kong. It's not just the giant gorilla. It's all the crazy shit that's on the island with him. All the like dinosaurs that have been living here for hundreds of years, giant spiders and bats and bugs and all sorts of other crazy monsters and stuff like that. That's part of what makes King Kong cool. I did like the fact that there was a Triceratops skeleton, which was a nod, but I know why. I know why there were no dinosaurs. Oh, because we're also making a Jurassic Park movie. So we're doing this stupid like dino embargo where we can't show the dinosaurs because we got another movie with dinosaurs in it. Fuck you. Show the damn dinosaurs. Jurassic Park does not have the fucking like monopoly on dinosaurs. You cannot copyright dinosaurs. You cannot copyright something that already exists in our world and was not created by man. Okay? I'm sorry. None of us own the copyright on dinosaurs. We did not make dinosaurs. God or the natural processes of the universe made dinosaurs. We did not. We can't copyright it. So stop trying to. It's big fucking... Okay, you wanna like show a Dilophosaurus that's spitting like, you know, poison? Oh, okay. All right, fine. That's a Jurassic Park creation because they couldn't really do that. But, you know, yeah, there should have been dinosaurs in the movie. But anyway, I really liked it, and I really liked the after-credit sequence where they were talking about how, like, oh, there's other monsters too, and they were setting up for this movie. They showed Ghidorah, and they showed Godzilla again, and they showed Mothra and Rodan, and I'm like, yeah, I thought this was really cool, and I got really excited for this cinematic universe. So much so, I wanted to go back and actually give Godzilla a chance, which I haven't done yet. But not for the reasons you might not for any particular reason. I'm just lazy and I've been watching other things. So it's like, but it's like it's in one of my on my to-do list is to go back and watch the first Godzilla, the first cinematic universe Godzilla, and give it a watch and give it a fair day in court, and which I plan on doing. So as for the purpose of this video, what do I think about the upcoming King of the Monsters movie? I'm based off of everything I've just laid out for you. I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm genuinely looking forward for this movie. Having watched the trailer, my one concern is once again too many humans. Too many humans. Some like dumpy teenage girl who's like the main character. I don't need that. Go away. Just give me the monsters. Just give me. I don't need actors. I don't need actors in this movie. I need Godzilla. I need Mothra, I need Rodan, and I need King Ghidorah. And maybe King Kong. And I'm not sure, and for those of you watching who could correct me on this, I noticed there was one monster that looked like it was a giant turtle. Is that Gamera? Because I try not to pay attention to, like BuzzFeed or things like that. I just, you know, I wait for a movie to come out and I watch it and I enjoy it or I don't enjoy it. That's how I roll. I try to kind of, like, keep myself cut off from the marketing as much as possible and then just be pleasantly surprised. But I mean, if Gamera were in this, that'd be really cool. I don't think there's ever been an official like crossover between Godzilla and Gamera, and they're both owned by Toei. So I think that would be really cool if Godzilla and Gamera finally interacted with each other. I'm cautiously optimistic about this film. Again, too many humans. I don't need human. I think that might be. It's the trailer's really melodramatic, but I think that's a problem with trailers in general. Is they're just way too melodramatic nowadays. But I'm cautiously optimistic about the movie, and I'm looking forward to it. And when it comes out, I'll give you guys a nice review and let you know what I think. But yeah, Minecraft, bro, this is for you. Hope you enjoy my thoughts. That's what I think of the Godzilla trailer. Let me know what you think of the movie when it comes out, and I'll post a review here, and we'll go from there. So once again, this is the Dread Pirate, and I got another video for you in a couple seconds. Catch you all later.